Hello, everybody. This is Courtney, and I am going to take a couple of minutes to review and show you all how to utilize our Planning Center Services website to manage your dream team um, and the schedules. So you should be able to see my Planning Center pulled up on the screen. I'm just going to kind of walk you guys through a few of the different ways that you can utilize this. Now, most of you probably utilize Planning Center more regularly from your phones, but I find that it is actually a little bit more user-friendly to do some of the administrative stuff um, when you're on the website itself. So if you have access to a computer and you're wanting to do some significant editing or changing to the schedule, I would suggest trying to do it from a web browser. So if you type in planningcenteronline.com, you'll see that it'll pop up and you can log in using your same login that you would use on your phone, and it'll bring you to this home screen. Now for yours, you should see Johns Island campus up here on the left. And then under service types, you probably will only have access to the JHN Kidscoast here. So this is what you should see. This will list out any of the schedules that have been built out. Not all of these have even been sent out yet, but because I've built them, they are here. And so I try to group them by month here, and then you'll see Team A, Team B, it rotates, and that is how I build the schedule to include the right people for the weekend. So if you don't know what Team A, Team B is, I basically try to schedule everybody on a bi-weekly basis. So you would be Team A if I had built you originally into that group, and you would rotate every other week, and then Team B for the other group. There are a few people that only serve once a month, and so I put them in one of the teams, and then I just edit them when I'm scheduling. And then if there's someone who wants to serve weekly, they are put into both teams. So that stuff you shouldn't have to edit. I have a master list, and I'll just show you while we're talking about it. If you ever want to look at this, if you go up here to the little settings next to JHN Kidscoast and click Teams, this will show you our master list of volunteers. So you can see here there are 63 members currently in here. If you click on it, it'll open up, and then you'll see on the left some different tabs, and it'll show people who are assigned to different positions. So you can see check-ins here. This shows anyone who is serving in our check-in team. You can see there's Dream Team Next, elementary groups, nursery, preschool, room coordinators, service coordinators. That's what you guys fall under if you're a room coordinator or a service coordinator. And then I've got Latoya down here in setup breakdown. You see one by one buddy. That's something we're hoping to work towards. So once I get new people on board, I pop them into these different tabs here under team. So now to go back, you can just click back up here, JHN Kidscoast, and it'll bring you back to the original screen. If you click here on templates, this will actually show you the Team A and the Team B groupings. So if you ever have someone who specifically asks to switch to the other weekend or something like that, you can go in here and edit that. So if you click Team A here, this will open up and show you who is on this rotation. Now, this doesn't mean that these people are set to schedule every single week. As I said, there are some people who are once a monthers. And so over here, you'll see like 4 different check-in people. That's because a lot of times these people will only serve once a month. And so I've got extra people slotted in there. And then you see here, Doug and Linda are pretty regularly serving every other weekend. So this is who is built into the schedule. And so as people, request to serve at a different time or need to move around, we can do that. I've got Jason in here as a floater, as I pop him in as needed. But yeah, that will show you, and I've got all the service coordinators listed here, as well as the room coordinators for each weekend. And then I just take them out if they're not needed. So that is what it looks like in here as far as the template goes. And then you can go back out and click on Team B if you wanted to see who is built into this team. And then also if we have people who need to take a time away from serving or they're moving, I can go in here and delete them. And I'll show you a little bit more about how to do that. But you can delete them and you can move people around by dragging them. And I'll review that here in just a minute. But here's Team B. And that is what I work from when I'm scheduling, essentially. So if you go back to Johns Island campus, it'll take us back to our home screen. Here is where, again, you'll be able to see all of the upcoming schedules. If you go back up here to My Schedule and click this is probably what you're used to operating off of. This will actually show you when you're scheduled. And so, of course, I am not scheduled for any future plans, but yours would probably show you what you've got coming up, what you're scheduled for. This is where you can go into block out dates. You can send an email through here. But yeah, so going back to plans, it'll take you back to our dashboard and you'll be able to see. So we'll use July 3rd since that's our upcoming Sunday as an example. We've got Team B up. And so here you'll be able to see where things stand. So to the left here, you can see where this is where I'll pop in pertinent information for the weekend. We've got our video for preschool and elementary in here. And then once I've finalized the lesson plans, I'll add them here under files. They'll be linked so that if you were to log in and let's say you were running the elementary room, you could go here, copy paste this into your browser and watch the elementary video. And then you could also click in here and pull up the lesson plan. Those also get emailed out before the weekend, but this just gives people who are maybe interested in looking earlier in the week a chance to see. So here we've got our 2 services. This shows us our 9 o'clock service, and you can see how many people have accepted in the green. That means they've said, yes, I'll be there to serve. The red X says, no, I will not be there to serve. And then the question mark just means they're on the schedule but have not confirmed. And so my goal is before Sunday to have all of these be a green or a red. We don't really want a lot of yellow. Now, there are people who just don't diligently use Planning Center, and I know they're coming. And so I'll sometimes go in and manually mark them green. I just think it's a lot easier to go into the weekend knowing yes or no for everyone. So this shows us our 9 o'clock. This shows us our 10:30. Same situation here. And this is an interesting weekend because it's the 4th of July weekend. And so I do still have some things that are going to be moving around. And so you can see there are some people who have declined that I have not taken out of the schedule. So I'm just going to walk through this really quick. So check-in, we've got our check-in people here for each service. So you can see who's coming. Down here, if there were any Dream Team Nexters that I had scheduled who I didn't assign a room to, they'd be here. Right now, we're using them pretty much right off the bat in rooms, and so I don't have anybody listed here right now. Elementary 3rd through 5th, you can see who we've got here on the schedule for the 9 o'clock service. And then you can see who we've got here for the 10:30. You can see here Terry Richardson has declined, that she cannot be there. And if you actually click on her name, it'll pop up and tell you if they wanted to give a reason why. So you can see here, she says they have guests in town this weekend, so sorry. And so a lot of times I'll leave her in here as declined just as a reminder that she's not going to be here. And if I'm searching for a replacement, not to accidentally include her on an email asking for someone to serve. I want to remember that she was the one who couldn't serve. The other purpose that it serves to leave her on here is that when I am maybe looking ahead to future weekends, there might be another opportunity where there's a gap, and I might want to pop her into a different weekend so she can still have an opportunity to serve her 2 weekends in July. So a lot of times that really helps, or I may even want to do a switch. So those are things to be thinking about if you are going to be a room coordinator and you're going to be working on these types of things, is maybe leave her here and then look to the other Dream Teamers, see if anyone would want to switch places. And then if they say yes, you could pop her in to where they were planning to maybe serve next weekend, and then pop that new person in here. And I'll show you how to do that. Then going down, you'll see there's a nursery people scheduled. There's the preschool people scheduled here for 9 and 10:30. And then I'll always just have Deb and Casey here as room coordinator each week for now. Maybe eventually I'll take you guys off, but I think it's nice just so that for the time being, you've kind of got your role here for each week. And then down at the end, we'll have service coordinator. So this weekend we've got Susan on, and then I've put Cornelia in to do 10:30. That way, if Susan wants to try to get into service, she'll get a chance. So that is kind of the breakdown of the schedule. And I'm trying to be diligent about adding LaToya on here as well. It looks like it didn't copy her over, but I'll add like a setup breakdown down here and put her in. Awesome. Okay, so let's say you are in here and you are working on making sure your slots are filled. Let's say you're doing elementary and you're wanting to make sure your slots are filled for the weekend. This is where you'll know if you want to maybe check in with someone. So Ashley has not confirmed on here. She's very diligent about coming, but you may want to shoot her a quick text message just to remind her she hasn't confirmed in Planning Center, make sure she's coming. Joanna is in here and hasn't confirmed, so you may want to text her mom, Julie, and just make sure they're planning to be here. That way we know we have all of our bases covered. And if they're not going to be available, looking to try to make some switches happen. Let's say that I'm just going to make some moves on here. Let's just say that Jill called and said, hey, I can't serve at 10:30. Can I do 9 o'clock instead? And let's say you called Ashley and she said, sure, I'll make the switch. You can easily drag the names around in here. So if you pull and click down on Jill's name and drag her over here, it will actually move her name over there. So then you'll just want to delete her from here. Are you sure you want to remove her? And you'll say, yes, remove. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to mess up my schedule, but that is a super easy way to move people around in here. If they're on a schedule for like the following week, you can't drag them from one schedule to the next. So you'll have to manually add them. So let's say it wasn't Jill, but let's say Ashley was not going to be able to serve. Let's go up and click. If you go up to the top, you see this is the date of the schedule for this coming Sunday. If you click the next one, it'll go to the following Sunday. So you can see I have not even communicated the rest of the July schedules yet. I'm a bit behind. So all of these are going to look yellow. But let's just say you're trying to make a switch with Ashley. So you may want to look at elementary for 9 o'clock the following week. So let's say Carla, you ask Carla and she says, sure, I'm happy to switch weeks. You would actually just want to delete her out of here. So you push this button, remove her, and then make sure that you add Ashley in here. So let's show you how to do that. If you go up here to Team Actions, add people, it'll pop up and give you a chance to search for someone. So you can type Ashley Roderick, select her name, and then at that point, you'll be able to go in here and select where she's serving. So you have her at 9 o'clock a.m. So you'll check off of the 10:30. So it only saves her to the 9 o'clock service. And then you'll look down here. You've got Sunday, 9 o'clock. That's right. And then under position, you'll click elementary and just make sure you've got her for the right position. Then you can click save. And that will save her name in here. It will not email her right away. That is one note I will make. It won't email her right away. It'll just save her in this spot. So then if you're sure everything is in place, you can click the email button here and it will actually pop up and show you a template of an email. So you can see this is what the subject line would be. It'll automatically populate her name and all of the information on the schedule, and you can just click send. Now, if you wanted to customize the email, you could go in here and change the subject line to customize it. And then you could go right here and you could add to this, you could delete this and add your own verbiage like, thank you so much for serving this Sunday. Here are the details, whatever you want to do, and click send. And then from that point, you should see that the little message symbol next to her name will go away. And that will tell you that it's been communicated to her that she's on the schedule. She'll remain yellow until she goes in and accepts it. So I'm going to go ahead and delete her back out and take you back to this coming Sunday schedule. So here you'll see there shouldn't be any little message symbols next to their names. All of these people have been communicated to, and that will let you know they've been emailed. Let's say you wanted to send a reminder email to them. You could do that as well. You could click on Ashley's name. And you can see here when she was communicated to. So you can see here, this is when the schedule was made, 5:25, 6:27, Courtney sent an email reminder to her. And then you can see if she's read it or not, which is really helpful. You can see it doesn't look like she's even read it. So that gives you a little bit of helpful information. Let's say she's called you and told you she's coming, but just hasn't gone in and confirmed. You can always click confirmed or declined on your own to update. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it until she is ready. Now, if you wanted to send an email to her, you can go up here to the message, click email, and then you can pick. So let's say we're wanting it to pick people who are pending to email. So let's uncheck the confirmed. You're including 9 and 10:30. If you only wanted to email people for the 9 o'clock, you could X that. And then you can go to next. And from here, it'll pull up anyone who is not confirmed for this weekend. So you could go ahead and do an email to them and say, please respond. That always helps. Or you could do like a personalized email and write a note, and you could take some of these people out and just send it to Ashley. So lots of different options in here. I'm going to cancel out of that, but ways to just confirm if people are going to be there or not. Let's say you had someone who offered to serve in a new classroom. So let's say Joanne is in the nursery and she's now going to move and help in elementary. You can again drag her up to elementary. It'll tell you there's conflicts because she's now scheduled for 2 different things. So just click accept. It'll move her up here. She will not have received an email yet, but you can go down here and delete her from here and then email her to move her to that room. So lots of easy ways to kind of drag and drop, email people, change their color, but this is what really helps us to be prepared for the weekend and to know who's going to be there. Now, let's talk about if we had to consolidate or make other plans. So this weekend is the 4th of July, and we know that it's probably going to be a less attended Sunday. And that also, unfortunately, means sometimes we have less dream teams. So our 9 o'clock service has been trending to be our more popular service. 10:30 in the summer tends to be slower. People go to the beach and take vacation and do things. So you can see here, we're going to be a little light for 10:30. So my initial thinking looking at this is, well, we'll probably combine our 2 elementary classrooms and we'll do Jill and Maddie, and then hopefully Ella comes and the 3 of them can just run all of the elementary group in one classroom. So maybe before Sunday, I would drag everybody up to elementary 3rd through 5th, and we would just have everyone meet in that classroom. Rather than trying to fill spots here to have both rooms open. If it was a different Sunday and not the 4th of July, I might put more effort into trying to find some replacements. But I think in this case, we'll probably be okay. And then you can see we're kind of in the same boat here with nursery and preschool. So I might even just combine the nursery and preschool into one classroom and do Tammy and Tanya together, serving in there. And kind of call it a day. But again, if it wasn't the 4th of July weekend, I might do some effort to try to get some replacements. And I would highly recommend moving forward, especially if you're a room coordinator, let's create a culture of asking these people to help with this process. So if Jane is unavailable, and I think she is sick, unfortunately, and it does say that here, she may not have the energy or ability to really help much, but if they do, if they're not sick, if it's just something has come up, I believe Tammy is also sick, COVID positive. So in this case, like, we're going to give them, some grace and just let them rest and get better. But if it was a different situation, we might say, hey, do you know someone who might be willing to switch with you, and kind of encourage them to communicate amongst themselves and help you out. And then once they confirm that, you could go in here and just make the changes. So that's something we're kind of working towards now that you all have group texts and ways to communicate with each other, that they can have a little bit of ownership and move in their own schedule around. So that is, in a nutshell, how to make changes to the schedule. I would love to go through with you guys how to create a schedule, but we probably won't have you all doing that right away. So I'm just going to briefly show you that quickly, but just know that this is something I'm going to continue doing for the time being, but down the road, it might be something that you guys could do. So down here, you can see I've got July and August built out. So let's say we were going to go ahead and move toward September. You could click Add Plan. It'll be one plan, and you're copying the times from the previous weekend always. So August 28th is the last plan that I've created. The next Sunday, it'll automatically populate that, is September 4th. And so then you'll have to pick which template you want. So if you look down here, you can kind of see it below here. It says JHN Kidscoast Team B was the last team that we did. So we want to make sure it's Team A. And then you can click Add One. That should open up your plan. And it'll show you who is auto-populating from that team. So up here, you can change the series title to JHN Kidscoast. Oops, excuse me. That's going to be the month. Sorry. So now we're building into September. So I would do September, create a new series, September, and then all of the plans for that week would go into September, and then submit. And then here under plan title, you can see what I've done the past few times. It'll be JHN Kidscoast dash Team A or B. And I can't even remember now which one we're building. So we'll just pick one, Team B, enter. And then from here, you could start maneuvering people around. If people have done blockouts, you'll see them in here, which is really helpful. So I'll show you that quickly. So most of these people are going to be yellow because they haven't been communicated to yet. If you scroll up here, you'll see Brendan Moore has a block out, and it'll show you what that is. It looks like he's blocked out like a whole week because they're probably on vacation. So that's how I would know, okay, well, he's not going to be able to serve, so I might maneuver some people around. And then you'll see Sherelle has a block out as well. And if you hover over that, it'll show you that was just a specific day. So I would probably move her around to a different weekend. So once you get everybody in place how you want them, you can do the email feature and it'll email everyone at once. I tend to do all of the plans for the month and then I try to send them all out together. So I'll show you quickly what that looks like. I'm going to scroll back to the beginning of August quickly. And to show you how I do that. So the first weekend is August 7th. So then if you hover over this matrix button here, actually, I think if you click the arrow, it'll tell you how many plans you want to include. So I think there's 4 weekends in August. So if you include this one plus the next 3 weekends, that would cover all of April. So if you click matrix, it'll pull up the entire schedule for August. And you'll be able to see kind of side by side all of the details. So you can see we've got A, B, A, B. These are the weekends. You can see the people that are scheduled. You can move people in here, and then appears where you can go email these people. And then that will send one big email, and I usually pull the email up. I would do pending confirmed. Everyone should have prepared notifications, but just in case, you can unclick that and it adds one person who I guess doesn't have a notification. It includes both service times. If you go next, it'll pull up and show you everyone who's getting an email. And then this is where I usually just customize, and I will say like Kidscoast August schedules. and then it'll email them anything they've been scheduled for August to each of these people. So pretty neat. That is kind of how to send out a schedule. I don't think any of y'all will need to do that anytime soon, but just so you know what that looks like. And then lastly, just for service coordinators, if there are Sundays where I am out or something is going on where I'm not going to be very present, you can always log in here and really, I know I send you a spreadsheet of who's serving, but there are last minute changes that happen at times or messages come in. So you may want to see if someone's declined, between the Thursday that I send everything out and Sunday. So you can always come in here and just review who is scheduled where ahead of time. And if there looks like there's someone who has declined and that there hasn't been someone replaced, you're welcome to ask me, or you could ask the room coordinator for that room, and they might give you an update of who's coming in, and you could make some changes in here. So feel free to do that if that is helpful. Yeah, so let's kind of brainstorm and just practice using this, and let me know how this can be more helpful to you, or how you can use Planning Center to make your Sundays more effective. So I'm looking forward to having y'all help me with this and being a part of it. Don't hesitate to just dive on in here and, make some changes or edits, or let me know if you have questions, and we can sit down and kind of review it a little more together. So that is it for today. Thank you guys so much for joining and watching this training, and there will be more to come.